Another thing that's great about insurance is that the more your life is protected, people can't just kill you and do things out here, because if they do, then insurance companies lose money, and then you have people, very powerful people, who's going to advocate for your lives.
What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Life After Podcast. This your boy Flo.
And this your agent, broker, health and life, Felix Williams.
Okay, and we about to get real busy today, all right? We got a lot to cover, got a lot of game to kick out there, so y'all stay tuned.
You are tuning in to the Life After Podcast.
Life After Podcast. Remember, Life After.
The Life After Podcast.
The Life After Podcast, baby. Woo! Don't you miss out.
What up? Welcome back. Listen, I feel so good right now. We got somebody real special in the building. We got my brother, Felix Williams. Come on, talk to me, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm glad you have me on, man. I get to, spit some knowledge and game to the, insurance world,
Absolutely, man. And loosen up too. Loosen up, cause we about to be here for a little bit. All right.
Sure.
So, talk to me. Tell me about yourself. First of all, who are you?
Hey, man, I'm a licensed in 25 states health and life insurance. That means I have my 215. I've been doing life and health insurance since 2020, since the pandemic. I used to be a bartender. I used to, be in the industry. COVID came, changed many of our lives, changed many of our jobs. So I went into the life insurance business, man, because I saw an opportunity to get a license really quick in the field. And it was something that once I really looked into, man, I was like really not only just the lucrative side of it, making money, but the helping people, especially people like in my community, There's so many people who don't have life insurance and don't see the value and importance of having life insurance. And I've witnessed and seen so many people's lives, tragically, cut short. And now everyone's scrambling to try to bury that person because that person don't have insurance. And funerals are very expensive. The average funeral today is you need at least 10 grand.
Man.
You need at least 10 grand to put someone in the ground.
So I mean, like I heard you transition from a bartender to getting into life insurance.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, have you always had some sort of interest in life insurance?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had interest because but I got life insurance probably at the age of like 27 because I had kids. And I knew if something happened to me, the breadwinner, that they would need something put in place.
Absolutely.
Me getting into life insurance, it was because the government, they had they gave you a temporary license if you wanted to be a life insurance agent. I took it. I took the exam, passed it, and then I had to take a real state exam, FBI background check, all that stuff. But what made me really transition from being a bartender, and I was making good money being a bartender, right? I was making like excellent money, but I don't know, man. I just wanted to try something different. And at that time, man, everything was shut down. And, everything was shut down. So we just needed to, do something different and make some money.
It almost feels like a lot of people, especially people who just got into entrepreneurship within like the last 5 years, they had their either breakthrough or they discovered some new ideas in business after the COVID, like the COVID situation kind of what you think happened right there?
So many people have so much time to think about. You have so much time to think about things, you're at home all day, right. So you had the people who use that time and those resources to be able to come up with ideas and be able to, implement them. And then you have some people who were desperate. You have no source of income coming in. You need to eat. You got to kind of create a way. We live in a world now with technology and all that stuff where you can you can find a way to make money, legally, So I definitely think that just played a part into, like, you look at the rise of TikTok. That was the rise of TikTok. TikTok was around, but during the pandemic, during the height of it, the beginning of it, even I watched TikToks because it was entertaining. It was funny. So yeah, that's.
I feel like that it even brought people closer as a family too, because now you got time to spend time around each other.
Yeah.
Digitally too, and these apps and social media and whatever. But even in the household itself, I guess people kind of got a little bit of a glimpse, like a front row seat of how important it is to sit and have meal with your family.
Yep.
Spend time, watch TV with the family.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can imagine, like, after the COVID situation ended, people probably didn't want to go back to work. And I feel like that's why a lot of people started their home business, started working from home.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people work from home. I mean, I work from home. It's a double-edged sword. I mean, you had some people during the pandemic, man, who, it brought them closer together. Some people happened to, really depend on each other. But some people, it pushed them apart, because sometimes when you spend that much time with a person in one place, you get to know that real person. And some, you had a lot of divorces and stuff like that during the pandemic. But overall, man, the pandemic taught people a lot of things. It taught us the impact that we're having on the planet. It showed you just how, for that brief time that it wasn't a lot of people outside, man, there was a lot of things that reversed, animals that we hadn't seen in a while coming out, it was just crazy how the effects that we have sometimes on the planet. It just showed us that, like, we can do better.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay, so for the viewers, if I wanted to get into life insurance, what are some steps that you took, and what are some game you can give to people to skip a lot of the headaches and mistakes?
As far as when you're first starting out,
let's say I'm a bartender right now, and I want to become. So I don't have the same. Is the government still offering that same?
No, that was only during the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay, so what steps do I take now if I want to be into life insurance?
If you want to be into life insurance, which in the state of Florida, how it works is first you take an exam. So you can go online, you can find stuff like exelsolutions.com. It's a lot of sites out there that you can take licenses. You can go in person and take an exam. What they do is they give you the study materials. You study that material. You take a practice test. In order for you to get to the next level, you have to pass that practice test. Once you pass that test, then you sign up. You do all your background information stuff, and then you take the actual test, your state exam, board exam. Once you pass that, you have your 215. You have your license. You ready to roll.
And what do I do with my license? Like,
the thing about insurance, once you get those license, you are you're a commodity. You are someone that some people are going to come after. Once you get that insurance, it's actual databases that people tap into when people get new licenses. The job force already knows you got that license. They already know you're a newly licensed agent. So you're going to get emails and job offers, and people are just going to be coming at you to recruit you. It's just automatic. I would always say if you get the 215, which is the life, health, and annuities, I would say just to work for a company, man, that one is reputable. A company that's going to really give you really good training on how to become an agent, because just having that license is not going to make you a top agent.
So you want to have some sort of experience.
Yeah, you want to build the experience. You want to see the do's and the don'ts. You want to get with a team that's going to really help you grow in that field. Being a life insurance agent is hard. It's not easy. But it's rewarding at the same time. It's something that, it's not for everyone, but if you're going to start out, you have to be patient. It's not going to be an overnight success and you just automatically making 7 figures. But the money is there. You just have to work hard and put it in the time. Putting in the time is the biggest thing. Putting in the time, making the calls, picking up the phone. That's the biggest thing in insurance.
So it's more of a, because I know back then it was more of getting out there, patting your feet. Like, you're not going to really make any money unless you go out there, post some flyers, sell some CDs, do things. But we see that the media has, the online world has kind of changed that, that method.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is the new method now? Like,
the old method was like you said, you go out, you try to make appointments to go to people's homes, which they still do. You still have companies that do that. Agents go to the home. You sit down with the customer. You go over a few things. You get some of the information. You collect it. You give them a quote, and you try to fit a plan that's going to be better suited for them to protect them. They still do that, but now most agents like myself, we do everything online, virtually. We call you. We can put in your information right there, send you an electronic application, and we can get it done in like 15, 20 minutes. So
what?
Yeah.
So you telling me you get on the phone with me for 15 minutes and I got life insurance?
No, you don't have life insurance.
That's the catch now. We need to know what the...
So in 15 minutes, I can tell you how much you would be paying for life insurance. So it would give you a quote. It would give you a quote on, I would ask you a few questions. Once I got those questions, I would put it into the system. The system would generate, and then it would tell you approximately what you would be paying a month for the insurance. Once that happens, then I would give you the application to fill, which would take you about 10, 15 minutes. And in 10, 15 minutes, I'll have to wait for what we call an underwriter, which is the actual insurance company. And then once they clear you, then I can go ahead and offer you the insurance and cover you.
So that's the initial call, is just to give the person an understanding and to find out what's best for them. And then they got to undergo a whole nother check. I guess they got to be qualified.
Well, it's because you want to make sure that to the insurance company. So as an agent, I'm there to work for the person, and I'm also there representing the company. And we'll get into that when it comes to, like, being a agent or a broker, being a captive agent or independent agent, stuff like that. But I have to make sure not only am I doing the best for the client, but I'm doing the best for the company. Because if someone is unhealthy or someone is a high risk, then it's not good for the company. Because the company, it's all about risk pools and how you accept it into insurance.
Of course.
They have a risk pool. So if you're a smoker, if you smoke cigarettes or if you smoke anything, your insurance rate is going to go up by tremendously, because you have a shorter life expectancy because you smoke. If you have, diabetes, if you have a condition to where your life expectancy is going to shorten, then you're a higher risk. So then it goes up. And some people are just uninsurable because they are immediately, like if you have stage 4, breast cancer, you're about to die. You're going to pass away soon. So insurance companies are not going to insure you.
I mean, that sounds kind of sad to me, because
it is sad.
Like, we're talking about dying here in the future, and I'm literally about to die.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to get insurance, but I see it from a business standpoint. But that's where things be starting to become sad in America, especially because it feel like everything is about money now.
Well, the thing is that everything is about money. I mean, it costs. It costs because you gotta understand, like, a person. If you were to get a policy, how old are you?
I'm 29.
So you're 29. So you're fairly young. You would get a cheap policy. So let's say you wanted to get a policy that would cover you. We'll use a term insurance policy for 30 years, and you wanted $100,000. That means that if you die, whoever you put as your beneficiary will get $100,000. They would get the death benefit to be able to bury you, and then some to be able to, have for themselves. You would approximately pay probably like around $20-something a month. And what it is it's a lot of conditions with that. They want to make sure within the first 2 years that everything you put on the application is true.
Of course.
As long as you do that, as long as that's done in 2 years, let's say you lied about something, but the insurance company doesn't catch it after the 2 years, don't matter. They still got to pay you if you die.
Wow. Okay, so from let's say I start my health insurance company, right? And how do I check for that? How do I check if a person is telling the truth or not? Would I send them to like some doctor's office to get checkup or?
No, so the relationship between the insurance company. So you have the insurance company, then you have the broker, which is like my company. I'm the brokerage. So I work with insurance companies. I work with a lot of different insurance companies so I can get you the cheapest policy because everyone has what they call underwriting. Underwriting is people who are mathematically geniuses. They go back and they go into like the percentages of the death pool and stuff, and they put all these numbers together and they look at your information and they put it together and they come up with the number that you need to pay a month. That number is going to be the amount shared with everybody else who pays insurance in that company. And that risk pool, and what they do is they take that money that you give, that premium, which you're like, yo, you're giving me $20. I'm giving them $20, and they're gonna give me $100,000. That doesn't make sense, but it does because they take that $27 with the collective and they invest that money.
It's almost like being a stockbroker.
Yeah, because it all goes together, man.
So rob Peter to pay Paul real quick, and then Rob.
I wouldn't say Rob.
Rob is but that's the real term for it. It's uncomfortable. It's very unsettling to even want that title as a robber. But that's what you're doing.
Well, it's not that you're robbing because you're basically, as an insurance company, you want to make sure you have to think about it. Excuse me. You have to think about it. If I was, let's say, I have, 4 people. Let's say, 4 people. Let's say 10 people. If I had 10 people, right, and 8 of those people got insurance and they were about to die, and they all had $100,000 policy, I'd have to pay that out.
All right.
And you know who would be paying it out? The 2 people who left. You got 10 people. So you say you got thousands and thousands in the pool, but we're just going to use 10. Let's say it was just 10 people that I had sending me money for their policies, and 8 of them died. I'll be bankrupt.
Yes, that's what I'm looking at. That's why to me that's why I said robbery, because I want to use the word in its true sense. That's robbery, because what if, and sometimes the unpredictable happen. That's what life is.
That's what life is. So
let's say all 8 of these people die.
Yeah.
Now what? Nobody gets money?
Well, in insurance, you get so insurance is back. Most insurance have to have policies that back their money that's going to make it protect. Even if they were to go bankrupt, dissolve, you would get paid.
I mean, does the government require you to have that backup insurance?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay, I feel a little bit safer now.
Yeah, because your money comes and they put it like in like what they call like it's like a little pool, like a little block, and that money they're allowed to invest that money so it can grow, but they have to have a certain amount of money in reserves to pay the policy holders.
Of course. Okay, so earlier I heard you use something like a term. You was like a term insurance
and whole
What's
life.
the difference between like term and whole life insurance?
Okay, so the difference when a person has whole life insurance is almost pretty much its name. You're having insurance for the rest of your life. Whole life insurance is pretty much for the rest of your life. Term insurance is for a term. So it's usually set from 10, 20, 15, to 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Most terms don't go past 30 years. The difference between the two, so I'll tell you the pros and the cons for them. When I speak to people, I tell them, depending on their situation, one might be better than the other. It's not always true. Everyone is different. Whole life insurance, of course, is going to be more expensive than a term, okay? Right. Because whole life, once you have it, it's for the rest of your life. You're covered for the rest of your life. Whole life also requires a lot more to obtain that type of insurance. You have to get health checks. You have to go to the doctor and get a checkup.
Who's paying for that?
The insurance company pays for that. Yeah, the insurance company pays for you to go get a checkup.
Right.
They want to make sure you're healthy. It's just a lot more that takes time to get that health insurance policy when it's a whole life insurance. So that's the con of it. The pro of it is that health insurance is a whole life insurance policy is actually an asset. It's like owning a home. It's like having an investment portfolio, because in that whole life insurance, let's say you have 100,000, 200,000 whole life insurance policy. You can borrow money from that policy if you were to go on bad times. And the thing is when you borrow that money, you're borrowing your own money. So when you borrow that money, you don't necessarily have to pay it back. You should pay it back, because if you don't pay it back, then it's going to be deducted from the death benefits from people.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? But you don't have to pay it back. It's your money. You can borrow that money while you're alive. You needed to pay something to do something. So it's an asset. It's an asset for you. Most people use those policies to fund different things.
Okay, so my question, are we talking about the equity that I actually have in it?
Yeah.
I'm able to draw out? Or let's say I get the...
Well, that's different. That's
Okay.
different, because you got different whole life insurance. And I'm not going to get too deep in it, because there's so many whole life insurance policies.
Right.
You got universal, variable. Those when you're talking about equity and stuff like that, that's different, because your equity in it is different. But now I'm talking about when you borrow from basic whole life insurance policies, is basically borrowing from the death benefit. You borrowing what, if you die, what's going to be left over. So that is something that you would want to repay, but there's no penalties if you don't.
Right.
But now with term insurance, like I said, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Most term insurance, if you got a 10-year, term life policy, once that 10 years is passed, that policy is done. So that means you died at the 11th year, you don't get no money.
Right.
Some term policies allow you to be automatically renewed. Some term policies give you your premium back. So let's say after 10 years, you don't die, you get your premiums back.
Right, which is what you paid.
Which is what you pay. But of course, that would be more expensive than a regular term insurance.
Right.
I a lot of times I get people most people want term insurance simply because they're healthy, they're fairly healthy right then and there, and also it's quick. Getting a term insurance doesn't require you to get a checkup. Mm-hmm. The insurance company doesn't make you go to the hospital. They ask you health questions. You ask them. You answer them. Whether they're going to be the truth or a lie, but they'll find out, because what they run what they call an MIB, which is your medical background. So authorized. Let's say you went to the hospital because you had like an operation or anything you went to the hospital for, they'll be able to see.
It's almost like the Carfax.
Yeah.
So they could always go check the Carfax.
See what your body been through.
Okay. see how many miles really on that car.
On that body.
That body. Now, for real. Okay, so another question, is there an escape clause?
What do you mean?
Are you stuck in that? Because I know it's contracted, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say I get a term for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Or let's say I get a whole life insurance. Am I stuck with this company? Is there a way I can...
No, you can dissolve. You as the insured. So you have the insurer, which is the company, and then the insured. You as the insured, you can break it to contract at any time. You can go anywhere. You can dissolve your policy at any time.
I'm pretty sure there's fees for that, right?
No fees. You just won't have insurance, But you can, if let's say you want to go to get you a different policy and you find a different company, you can go to that company and get that policy, and you can dissolve your other life policy. The insurer can't do that. The only way they can ever modify or cut you off from your insurance if you don't pay the premium.
Do they give you like
31 days?
31 days. They kind of strict.
31 days. 31 days
Yeah.
to get your policy back if you don't pay it. Depending on your circumstances, depending on how you reach out to the insurance company or your agent. Sometimes they give people a little bit more time, but after the 31 days by law, I know in the state of Florida, they can cancel your policy.
Well, people should be putting their health first, anyways. And if
Definitely.
it's $20 a month, like y'all, come on now, come on.
But you'd be surprised, man, because people it's just something about it sometimes. Like people don't want to pay for something that they're not getting the actual benefit while they're living. So that's the hard part. So that's why
people need to see it now.
We need to see it now. But people with families and people who really own stuff and want to protect things, those are the people that's easy to sell those policies to, because they got so much to lose. They got people who depend on them. So
that goes straight into my next question. Like, why so much people don't have insurance?
Like for that reason, so many people feel like they don't need it, especially when you're younger. We feel invincible. You're like, man, I'm never gonna die. Why I need life insurance? Who I'm gonna leave it to? That's
that young spirit right there.
That's the young spirit. They don't have life. They don't have health insurance.
Yeah.
And that's but I would say the average person, man, if you have a kid, if you own a home, if you're not rich, you need life insurance. Because what happens is if you suddenly get hurt or somebody kill you or you just get sick and you die, man, you leave that burden on your family to bury you. Okay, you leave that burden. And I'm an agent, and I protected so many people in my family. I gave so many policies to people in my family, but it's even people in my family, man. Like I had a uncle just died, and he didn't have life insurance. And that's a scramble because everybody had to scramble to pay to bury him because we wanted, you want to bury him. So it's just so surreal. People they avoid it because they feel like they don't need it, but it's definitely needed, man. You don't want to put that burden on you people. You want people to be able to mourn you and remember you by the things you did on earth, not because they had to scramble to get money to put you in the ground.
Right, definitely.
I
mean, what's the name of your company?
So the name of my company is Augustus Life Insurance.
Okay.
Insurance quotes. What we do, I'm a brokerage, so I work with, many different insurance companies. And then, what we do is we when the client calls in, we take care of everything. We ask them questions. And once we ask them certain questions and send it over to the insurance company, we go ahead and get the enrollment process going. And sometimes it's just about educating people with policies that they already have. I'm an agent who I care. So if someone calls me and they just have questions about things and they might not necessarily buy a policy, it's okay with me because I rather educate people. I do this not only to make money, but I do this because I care about the community. I care about people. I want to see people protected. I want to see people healthy. I don't want to see people in distress. So I love talking about insurance and I love helping people in insurance. So
that's valuable and that's rare nowadays. And I get a distaste for when I run into situations where I just want information. And I'll call a company. And once they see that I'm not talking no money right now, once I'm not spending, they quick to they ready to get off the phone.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to talk no more. But, the fact that you care, those are the simple things like that I admire nowadays because they're becoming so rare. People are losing the value for...
Definitely.
Yeah, man, because even now, customer service. I remember when customer service was a big thing.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, I go to... I'm not even going to say the company name, but I went into this grocery store, right?
Yeah.
I went into this grocery store. This grocery store, when I worked there, when I was younger, they was big on customer service. Like, we had to take training and all that.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Right. So, but we ain't going to say it.
We ain't going to say it.
We going to keep it a secret, okay?
Yeah, we gonna say
so
it,
I go in there, and I'm asking the lady, I'm like, okay, can you tell me where she went acting like she don't speak no English. And walked off on me. And I was just like, I know for a fact your ass speaks some English. First of all, because you couldn't have got this job, you couldn't have read the application, you couldn't did none of that. But it just goes like, that's valuable that you actually care. Valuable. You know what I'm saying? Because it's rare nowadays, man.
It is rare, and it's even in my industry. You have so many people who have mistrust. Also, they have mistrust when it comes to insurance. They have mistrust when it comes to insurance company, and it's understandable. You have a lot of you have some agents. I'm not going to say a lot because you just have some because the small amount affects the majority. You have a small amount of agents who are in it for the wrong reasons, and they do different tactics to pressure people in insurance policies that they don't necessarily need or just not their fit. And I'm not going to talk bad on those agents, but that's not what I represent. That's not what the people who work for me represent. I represent the totality, the good part of the insurance. What it's made for is to protect you and to protect your family.
And that's why it's good to stay neutral just as a being at all times, because you might box in everybody, So now cops, for example, got a bad reputation as dirty, all because those ones that's out there messing it up for the whole organization. But there is some good people out there, some good cops out there that care.
Some great cops, man. It's always the small minority that make it bad for everybody.
Of course.
And that's in every sector, every group. It's just a small amount of people, and they just they do things, and all people see is that group of people or what they do for a living. And then when they have that bad experience, they're just like, I'm not dealing with that no more.
Of course. And that's trust issues, man. Yeah. That's where trust issues start formulating.
Definitely.
You got people who have been through past traumas, and that'll cause them to not trust nobody.
Facts. Facts.
But then the person that you actually need to trust, you'll let them slip by.
Oh, that happens every day, man. Every day.
So back to the insurance. I think I got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
So I heard you use the term agent and also broker.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the roles?
Okay, so it's a few things. So when if you're an insurance agent, usually you work for one company. So that means you're a captive agent. So you represent just that one company. You work for just that company. So when a person calls you, you only have that company's products to offer them. When you're a broker, like myself, you work with different insurance companies. So you're able to offer the client a more of a selection because you can offer them different plans from different companies, not just that products from that one company. So that's the biggest difference is the broker works with many different carriers, and an agent is usually employed for just one insurance company. Okay,
and so what's your goals beyond is there a next step you're trying to take this insurance thing to? I know you say you got your, what was it,
215?
215?
Yeah.
Is there something else you trying to go obtain beyond that?
I'm actually so most of my agents, the requirement for people to work for Augustus Life is that they have to have at least be insured. They have to at least have 10 different licenses. So, and what I mean by that is when you get your license, like I have my license in the state of Florida, but I'm also licensed in 25 other states. So I have to have them at least 10, because when I do leads, we buy leads, we purchase leads to be able to contact people and be able to reach out to the people who are seeking insurance. They're from different states, and if I have an agent who's only licensed in Florida, then
limitations.
It's limitations. You see what I'm saying? My goal is to definitely grow my business. I'm going right back now myself personally to get my PNC license, which is properties and casualties, which means that we could sell yacht insurance, homeowners insurance, business insurance, pet insurance. I just want to be a rounded company, because I believe
that's the next level.
I believe in insurance. I really do believe in insurance, and I believe that insurance is put here so people don't go bankrupt. Because if you didn't have insurance, man, the average person can't just come out of their pocket and pay $30,000-$40,000 for something. Your car gets totaled. Most people don't have 20 grand just to come out and get another car. Most people don't have 10 grand to go get another car.
Of course.
So insurance is important. People see insurance and like, well, I'm paying for something that if it happens. But at the end of the day, if it happens, you want to be able to have that money.
and living down here in South Florida, like for me personally, that's when I really, really started taking insurance. Because before, they always used to ask, when I buy little small things, I buy electronics at Best Buy, or if when I get my phone and stuff like that. When I was younger, I don't want no insurance. I'm not trying to pay no extra money. But then when it breaks, it's like, damn.
I should have got that insurance.
I should have got that insurance. And then when it comes to things like you were saying, like cars and more expensive things, when you get in an accident, it's depending on the degree of or the severity of that accident, you're gonna take your car gonna take some damage if you and the car don't take some damage.
Facts.
So if you have insurance, they take care of it. And I went through that recently. I just got in a car accident a few months back, and thank God for insurance. So
hey,
yes,
good thing you're good, man.
Yeah, man. So y'all get some life insurance, especially because if you'll put insurance on a phone or put insurance on these electronics or whatever it is, your house, then what's more valuable than your life?
In your life, facts.
Get y'all some life insurance. I'm telling you.
Definitely.
You got life insurance?
I got several policies. Several.
I gotta make sure because it's like you selling life insurance. We gotta make sure you covered too.
And I had it before I even had life insurance. Like I always had policies because I had kids, man. I knew like if something ever happened to me, I gotta be able to take care of them from the grave. You feel me? So I got multiple policies. I tell people to get multiple policies, man. Get different policies. Now I have policies for not only just my kids, man. I have policies for other people. I'm not gonna say it but I have so many policies. Like a lot of people in my family are covered if something ever happened to me. Like they're good.
That's a beautiful thing, man. That's beautiful. I got one more question for you, and we could go ahead and wrap it up, man. I know you're a busy man. You got things to do. So and this is a very important question for even myself. What is the mission statement? What is the mission quote for Augusta Life Insurance?
Our mission is to educate people, on the role and importance of insurance, to ensure people that need that protection, to educate young people about insurance. We know that when you're young, you feel invincible. I would say anyone who's past the age of 27, you need to seriously consider getting life insurance. Our mission is just to be a part of the community and protect people. We don't want to continue to see GoFundMe funerals. It's sad because people when someone passes away, that family member who's responsible for burying you, they want to be able to just mourn you. They don't want to be. They want to be able to grieve, and they
take
can't
on
grieve.
all the extra burden of.
They want to take all the extra, like you said, extra burden of burying you. I know because I buried my father. I had to bury my mother, so I know people don't realize burying someone is a lot of work. It consumes you. It takes everything, not just money, but time. It's not a great process. So it's already extended process. So if you now worried about money on top of that, it's overbearing. It becomes stressful. So that's what I want to do. I want to educate people. I want to protect people. I want, especially in our communities, to be protected, because the more our lives are protected, the more. Another thing that's great about insurance is that the more your life is protected, people can't just kill you and do things out here, because if they do, then insurance companies lose money, and then you have people, very powerful people, who's going to advocate for your lives. So insurance is a big thing for the community. So that's our mission. Our mission is to take care of people, to educate them, and to get them insurance.
Get them insurance. So y'all heard it from the best, man. That was Felix Williams. How can the people keep up with you? How can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at AugustusLifeInsuranceQuotes.com. I have a Facebook page that you can follow me on. And before I get out of here, I always like to say my slogan to those who are going to be watching this and thinking about getting insurance. Just remember, life insurance will never be cheaper than it is right now today. Every day you go past, it gets more expensive. So remember that. Life insurance will never be cheaper than it is right now today.
And he told you so, because I was here when he told you. So listen, man, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge, your game. You even enlightened me on a lot of different things, and even like urged me to stay on top of myself, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to insurance, beyond just life. So, wait. Ain't nothing beyond life. So you better go get you some life insurance, all right? I'm saying, man, it was a pleasure having you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Definitely, I'm glad that I check you out, man. I love you, what you got going, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Got you. And This is another episode of the Life After podcast. You know we keeping it ether realistic. Let's go.